Hello everyone, my name is Heather and today's game is Planet Zoo. I was going through my Steam inventory and realized a ton of updates have been made to this game and so many DLCs have been released, so I decided to start from scratch and build a new zoo in challenge mode. Challenge mode means you're building the zoo offline and you have to manage your employees, animals, and of course your money. Your revenue streams come from attracting people to your zoo. You can also sell off animals and get challenge awards along the way. Another way to get money is through taking out a loan, which I'm going to try to avoid, but I'm going to show you how to avoid it too. It's probably been over a year since I played this game, so I had to get used to the controls again, but once I had that down, I was ready to build. I started building my entrance with a wide open court. Later on, I'll probably place a fountain in the center, but to start off, a fountain just isn't important. What's important is to have storefronts where people can purchase merchandise, food, and drink. So I'm going to start out with an information center and Looney Balloons as my merchandise shop. I have a walkway leading to the buildings for the lines so the crowds don't block the main walking area for the guests coming in. Next, I want to have an area where the guests can sit and grab something to eat or drink, but the actual buildings with staff are expensive. So to start, I placed down some vending machines. Keep in mind the placement of these are temporary and they are being used to cheaply satisfy guest needs. These can be moved somewhere else, or I may get rid of them altogether later on. In the same area, I placed a bathroom and an ATM, and don't forget about trash cans, as this is something that can be overlooked, and then when the guests start coming in, you can have a big mess. Next, I placed down the staff buildings, and I'm keeping them close to the merchandise and information center, because I plan to create one large building that houses all of these buildings. I won't start constructing this until much later, so the placement of the staff buildings aren't all that important right now. They may change when I actually do construct the building. You do need to make sure that the staff path leads to the buildings and that it connects to the main public path. I also placed 2 of the workshop buildings for the mechanics. The workshop buildings allow for mechanics to research themes, buildings, or barriers, and when that research is complete, you get new materials to build with. I hired 2 mechanics to start so I can unlock the materials for the zoo faster. So the guests don't start coming until you get animals in your zoo. I started out with 3 exhibits to start, and I haven't filled them in with animals yet, but once the structures are laid down, I started to hire staff. That is because you need at least a zookeeper, a caretaker, and a vet to open up the trade center. So you have to have staff in order to start purchasing or adopting your animals. If you didn't know where to hire your staff, you just go ahead into the zoo button down on the left-hand corner. I was a little confused here because upon opening the exhibit trading tab, no animals were being pulled up. I thought once you had the staff, everything opens up. In the event I was wrong, I went to the Animal Trade Center building and opened the exhibit storage there using the button. And then as I went back into the exhibit trading tab again, I refreshed the filter and then the exhibit animals popped up. Like I said, it's been a while since I played this game, plus I purchased some DLCs, so there were some new animals on the list. I was surprised to see the sloth as an exhibit animal, but I get it, they don't move much, and even when you see a sloth at the zoo, they usually have a fairly small enclosure. I'm happy to see a sloth though, as it's one of my favorite animals. So the guests start to come in fast after your first animal purchase. At this point, I was surprised to see snow because I could have sworn I selected a tropical climate for this zoo, so my bad. To remedy this, I placed down some heaters, which you can find under the Habitat tab, and this will keep the animals and the guests warm. I also took this time to place a surcharge on the ATM and the toilet. Yes, the toilet. Again, I'm trying to generate revenue to avoid taking out a loan, so this will give me some cash that I need. The toilets will eventually be free, like in the real world, but not right now. So now I'm looking for 2 more exhibit animals to purchase, and I'm pulling up the Zoopedia reproduction information about the animals. The reason why I'm doing this is because I'm looking for animals that are promiscuous. That is because they'll reproduce fast, and I could sell or release any extra animals to generate either a little bit more cash or earn conservation credits. I'm also selecting animals that are on the Oceania continent, which includes Australia, because I plan to start the zoo out with Australian type animals and kind of themed decor. Then I'll move on to more desert dwelling animals, and after that, I'm not too sure. After all this, you kind of have the bare minimum for what the guests find acceptable. You can modify prices at your shops, maybe increase the entrance fee, but for the most part, you can walk away for a few minutes, get a drink, and just let some money accumulate. You don't want to stay away from your zoo for too long though. Remember, you have some frisky exhibit animals and they'll start reproducing many offspring and fast. The crowding as a result of that will lead to their low welfare. So you don't want any protesters, but you can just kind of sit and monitor and watch your budget increase. You'll notice my budget on the bottom of the left screen. It'll steadily go up once it hits a certain point. And somewhere between like $9,000 and $12,000 is probably where I'll start building my first habitat enclosure. So I hope this helps you get started in creating your first zoo in challenge mode. I plan to continue building this zoo, so be sure to watch out for future episodes. I'm curious though, what type of Planet Zoo related content do you want to see? Are there specific things you want to learn, or do you just want to see what comes of this zoo? Its name is Aspen Grove, by the way. So thank you so much for joining me in today's video. Give me a like and subscribe if you want to hear more from me. Thanks.